Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast, Surviving Breakups. Now, one of the things I'm going to do on this channel, I'm going to assume dudes already know how to get a woman. That's where the conversation is going to go. Dudes already know to get a woman, but see, then sometimes getting a woman is easy. Making that shit work something else. And then inevitably, you're going to have a breakup. That's going to happen. I mean, that's inevitable. That's inevitable. Unless you meet that person you plan on marrying them. And most of y'all ain't meeting a woman thinking you gonna marry this woman. If you get in any type of relationship, even a sexual one, even a friends with benefits thing, at some point it'll end. At some point you might find somebody else, she finds somebody else. And the issue then becomes is, okay, how do you survive a breakup? Now, for purposes of this, let's assume that the woman didn't want to deal with the man anymore. She don't want to deal with you. It can be anything. Or she did something, or shit. It ain't a situation where you have control over it. So how do you deal with that? And, a lot of people ask me questions about this, so I wanted to put this in. And just for the record, I have one about surviving divorce. I can't think of the title, but it's on my Vimeo channel, my Vimeo pay on demand channel. So check that out. But surviving a breakup. Well, first thing, accept that if it's breaking up, accept that it's happening. That's the first thing, and that it has happened. You got to accept it. You can't sit back and say this and that. Don't jump right on another woman. Don't jump right on another woman. Sit back a bit. You done broke up because you were probably in a relationship. A lot of dudes really don't have side pieces. That was your only source of sex. And I'm bringing up the sex part. We got to keep it 100 in here. We're going to keep it 100. We ain't going to be pretending like, oh yeah, sex wasn't a thing. All of a sudden, that steady sex that you were having ceases. And some guys go crazy over it. That's seriously, women need to be actually think about that. They need to think about that sex thing when they break up, because that's why dudes get crazy. Some of them get crazy. They come back with a gun and shit, because you might have been their only source of, the woman might have been their only source of sex. So, but that's an issue. If that breakup is actually a divorce or something, that's an issue, because then if there's kids involved, you got to worry about them, property involved, how to split that property. It's a lot. But that's another conversation. What I'm talking about is just the breakup period, regardless of what it is, dissolution of a marriage or just a regular relationship. The first key is understand, accept that it's happened. This relationship that you might have thought might have gone longer is over. In fact, you probably saw signs of it coming. So accept that. Sit back and take a few weeks and just be to yourself. It's tough. Because, no more sex, no more affection. And on some level, y'all were probably some type of friends in most cases. Most cases, I mean, if y'all were in a relationship, y'all got to know y'all a part of each other's lives. You hung out with people saw you together. So take a few weeks first. Take a few weeks first. And let it out. If you got to scream, you got to talk to some friends, you got to cry. Men can cry in the dark. Do whatever you got to do, but get that grief out of your system. Get that poison out your system first. Okay, that's first. Then, when you kind of got that out, you can think a little bit clearer. Just think about, okay, two things. What did you learn from it, and why did y'all break up? When I say learn, what happened? Did you grow any? Did you get an idea while being with this person to start a business? Or did you have a business and being with this person fucked it up? And that gets more into the second part of what you doing. You figuring out why it broke up. So you got to look at everything. Sit back. You got to reevaluate everything for one simple reason. It's not really so much a breakup as it is a learning experience. Because nobody's meant to be with the same mate all their lives. And there's some people who have an argument, you come across that quote unquote soulmate. But even then, you got to go through some stuff. It might be some stuff that you learn while dealing with that woman. It could have been learning how to have sex good. Or it could have been learning how to get more aggressive. Let me talk about that, because A lot of times, and I'm gonna go deeper, when we in a relationship, we supposed to learn something. We supposed to get with it. A lot of times, say you were kind of a timid dude when you met that woman. This is just a hypothetical. You were kind of a timid dude, but y'all hooked up anyway. You noticed that things were a lot more peaceful between you and her when you got aggressive. When you said, "Hey, zip it," or you took charge. And then she gave you trouble when you didn't do those things. So eventually you developed that skill of taking charge. But even though y'all still break up, when you go into the next relationship, you can say, you know what, I'm more of a take charge person. That's how it's supposed to work. People ain't supposed to stay together. In fact, if this was a civilized culture, when people get ready to break up, they'd have a party. They would have a party. They would sit there at parties, say, yeah, this is it, just severance party. Shoot, if they really civilized, just have severance sex. Like, you know what, this ain't really working. You know, especially if the sex part was good. Maybe not severance sex if the sex wasn't good. And even then, learn the lesson there. If the sex wasn't good, then maybe there's something that, don't worry about her. She had her own stuff, but worry about your part. It's like, were you lasting long? Okay, then maybe once you get rational again, you can say, okay, I need to work out more, or I need to study these techniques. You get what I'm saying? You need to study something. You'll figure that out. So, you know, you go through that period self-evaluation. And then you know what you do then? You still, okay, you done seen what you did. You say, okay, I know what to do next time. This is what you do. You don't go grab another person. You don't just grab them. In fact, you don't even look for that person. That's when you say, you know what? All right, I had this thing. I'm going to get my life together. Okay, I'm going to move on. That's when you get into whatever you're supposed to be doing, whatever you like, you just go do it. You don't think, oh, I got to get another woman. Yeah, it's going to be tough doing that. Especially if you ain't getting sex regularly. You might not have that side piece. But you sit back and just say, you know what? All right, I learned all that. Okay, I got this, what I got to do. Okay, well, let me go work on this business. Find a project to work on. Find something to keep you busy. You know, you might need to hit the gym. You might need to put on some muscle. You might need to lose it. You might need to think about your job. It could have been a situation where you working on some job you didn't like, and then you coming home or dealing with her all cranky. And you might have to be like, you know what? I can't do this again. You sit back and you just figure out what you do. Focus on that. And see, here's a secret. If you focus on what you're supposed to be doing, at some point, just in your normal path, you're going to run into a new woman. And you're going to find that the positive traits that you developed dealing with that last woman, like, let's use the example, just being more aggressive, maybe being better in bed. All of a sudden, you hit that woman with it, she like, pow, she loving it. And really, I know I got some women listening. Shit, y'all can take the same advice. What did you learn from this person? Are you going forward? Now, see, what some people do, and this is just a big mistake a lot of people do. A lot of dudes will like run and get somebody just like that first woman because they ain't really broke up from that woman in their mind. So they get somebody look like her, maybe even try to get her to wear that weave like her or something. It's like, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. Even though your tendency is going to be to get a similar person, you try to find a person that's an upgrade. But in order to find that person, you got to learn the lessons and upgrade yourself. That's the thing. You just got to just sit back and then you got to reinvent yourself. Because that's one thing I always did. Anytime I had any type of breakup, and I've been married before. In fact, after my marriage, shoot, everything I touched turned to gold. That's because I took the time. I was just like, okay, what the hell I really want to do? And here I am. So, just, you know what? That's how you survive it. Focus on your shit. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.